Let's move our attention now to tensions in the Middle East. U.S. and Iranian officials have been holding high-stakes, indirect talks in Oman this morning over Iran's nuclear program. The U.S. military has been building up its presence in the region. President Trump has described this as an armada following Tehran's deadly crackdown on anti-government protests. Will Todman joins us now. He's a senior fellow in the Middle East program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. He can help us understand the importance of today's indirect talks. Good morning, Will. Put this chat in perspective then. What are both sides looking to achieve, and what really is the risk if they fail?
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me, Errol. I think for the Iranians, they are trying to survive. They have sent signals that they're prepared to make some concessions on the nuclear file. But they do not want to broaden the talks to other issues. They don't want to talk about ballistic missiles. They don't want to talk about their support for proxies across the region. And that's because they are feeling an existential threat at the moment. As you said, we've seen this historic protest movement last month in January. The economy is crashing, and the regime is still really weakened after the military strikes that Israel and the US conducted last year. And so for the US, then, I think they see this as an opportunity to try to get concessions out of Iran. President Trump certainly wants to see concessions on the nuclear file, but it's unclear if he wants to go even further. And with the threat of the military assets in the region, he's signaling that he could strike again if the Iranians refuse to compromise.
So based on everything you've just laid out then, and the nationwide protests and the Iranian crackdown against it, is Iran in a weaker position now compared to previous times when the U.S. has tried to negotiate with them over its nuclear program?
It's absolutely in a weaker position. I think it's probably in the weakest position it has been in the history of the Islamic Republic since 1979. But I think ultimately the Iranians have made the conclusion that they would rather face US strikes than make compromises on some of those other issues that I just laid out, because in their mind, if they did compromise on their ballistic missiles, on their activities in the broader Middle East, that would leave them completely defenseless against other more powerful regional actors like Arab Gulf states like Saudi Arabia. So I think they're making a bet here, attempting to even call President Trump's bluff, that he doesn't actually want to see a large-scale war in the region. And all the indications are that if the US does strike, the Iranians will try to strike back, and this will very quickly escalate into a broader regional conflict.
Yeah, we certainly hope that does not happen. Will Todman, appreciate your insight, joining us from Washington this morning.